33 of the All the Books Show, the official podcast of the David A. Howe Public Library. I'm Eric Mickles, and with me is Nick Gunning.
Wow. I just was wondering, like, if I didn't say anything, how big of an intro you'd give me if it was like, all the way from Battle Creek, Michigan, or something like that. But
that is where you're from.
You just said, that's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I put you on the spot.
Did you just inform everybody?
I shouldn't expect much.
Your origin story now?
That I was born in Battle Creek, Michigan?
Yeah.
Cereal City, baby.
What, cereal?
Yeah.
Like,
they make all the cereal. Kellogg's and Post.
Yeah.
Used to be on the commercials, you had to send the box tops to Battle Creek, Michigan. Then you get your Tony the Tiger bandana or whatever the prize was.
Your summer job was sorting all those box tops.
The cereal, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Big into the cereal world.
For those just joining us, this podcast is not about cereal or box tops.
Wait, what?
But about book news, literary news, and author news.
Wow.
That's the intro, though. So,
all right. So what have you been up to, book-wise?
Book-wise, well, I was sick for almost a week, Nick.
Yeah, you were. You were down.
Yeah.
You were down.
I was here.
I was measuring your office. I was going to make it my summer office.
Yeah. I was here at work Monday, and then I was sick Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I thought I got better, so I came to work Wednesday.
Yeah.
You never saw me again.
Yeah. We had a crazy weather week.
Yeah.
Last week. It never got as bad as they said it was going to get, but it was still.
Well, the schools closed
snowing and blowing
2 days in a row.
Yeah, they
That's
did.
pretty big for Western New York rural, where they don't. Well, everybody has a plow in their car.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a bicycle. It's got a plow on it.
Does it?
So, no, I don't
Wow.
have.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I worked at Herrick Library in Alfred, this was a long time ago now, like 10 years ago, I got. We had a couple of snow days. Like, they closed the whole university. And it was like the first time I had a snow day since, like 11th grade. So it was pretty exciting.
I was
pretty
worried,
exciting.
as the director, you were going to close the library for a snow day while I was sick. I was like, please don't tell me I'm wasting a snow day on a sick day.
That would be awful.
It would have been terrible.
Yeah.
So I didn't do too much reading, but Sunday I was like, I'm back.
Yeah.
So I finished
Rebound.
I finished Gateway by Frederick Pohl.
Oh, okay.
So it was pretty good. Again, this is a story about we find like this space station / asteroid called Gateway that has a bunch of ships and relics of an old alien race, and people can come if they can afford it, and they become prospectors.
Right.
And they can risk getting in a ship, and they don't know where it's going to take them.
Ooh.
Because it's an alien ship.
Mm-hmm.
And they get to make money off of whatever they find. But not everyone comes back alive. Not everybody finds something. So it's very dangerous. So it's the story of a guy who has to get up the courage to get on that ship.
Mm-hmm.
So
was it good?
Yeah, it's okay. It took a while to get. It took like halfway.
Seems like you were.
Took about halfway in to get me.
Yeah,
going.
that's too long.
Yeah, but
That's too far
did.
in.
So,
although I guess that's better than getting halfway in and being like, no, this is never going to pick up. That's always a tough decision to make. You're like 200 pages into a book, you hate it.
Yep.
You're never going to get your time back.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
I've had to force Pillars of the Earth.
Exactly. I've had to force myself to just be like, no, put it down. You hate it.
Yeah.
So
well, every other chapter of this book was every other chapter was him in the past on Gateway, building up the courage. And then every other chapter was him seeing a robotic psychologist about his time there.
Okay.
So it changed the setting enough.
Okay.
It was good. The therapy sessions were they were actually like entertaining because of the robot's response and the main character's basic desire not to share anything at all.
Okay.
So it was almost a game of cat and mouse. Psychological cat and mouse.
Yeah.
So the best kind.
Yeah.
And then I also read this book called Spawn.
Oh, boy.
Volume 1. Spawn Issue 1 by Todd McFarlane originally came out in May 1992.
Oh, boy.
And let me tell you,
That is a tough
it
read.
feels like a comic that came out in May 1992. So, the first volume, it's just weird because like everybody thought Spawn was so cool back then.
Yeah.
And like you read it and he's really weak. He's just constantly being beat up by other things. And the only thing he's like ever strong against is just normal people. Like, I know, I'll kill this murderer.
So just like a strong guy.
Yeah, it's like, well, congrats, Spawn, you killed this murderer.
All
but
right.
now these demons are just beating the crud out of you all the time. And like, I don't mean like he's in a fight. They just like steamroll over him.
Uh-huh.
It's embarrassing for Spawn.
That sounds like it.
So
Poor Spawn.
the art is fine because it's Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, it's pretty
at the
90s.
top of his game.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I I checked out the first 3 volumes, so I guess I'll at least read the next one.
You're gonna go with
I
it?
gotta see if the first volume, like the first storyline through, I think, to see how it really goes. Maybe Spawn's like doesn't know about his powers back then.
Maybe he doesn't.
This series is almost at 300 issues.
Wow.
It has never been rebooted. It's never like canceled.
Wow.
So you got to give Todd McFarlane that. You know, fun fact about Todd McFarlane.
Tell me.
He bought Mark McGuire's home run record ball.
Okay.
For $3 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Spawn's treated him well.
Yeah,
I
of course,
guess is-
now
I guess is
that
what we're
ball
saying.
is like worthless because the record's been beaten a few times.
Yeah.
So, but that's Todd McFarlane.
He had his place in history.
Yeah.
Boy, for a really Spawn heavy up front to this episode,
Yeah.
I guess we should have mentioned early on that we're going to be talking about some of the best books we've read by women. So some of our
That's true.
favorites.
We forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Because it's March and it's Women's History
Women's
Month.
History Month. That's
Okay.
right. Yeah, we got some great displays here in the library and different programming to go
got
with
some
it.
great
We're going to
women
be
in the library.
That's true. We're going to be welcoming a pretty prolific and well-regarded female author at the end of this month with Julia Spencer Fleming coming on the
true.
31st to close down
Yeah.
Women's History Month till next year. I mean, you can always celebrate the history of women, but
Yeah.
that's the end of the month. That's all I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna dig into that a little later, but. Is that it for you, book-wise?
I guess I could
What
talk
you
more
been
about
reading?
Spawn,
I
but
don't
now that
think-
you've mentioned women's
no.
history, it feels
I think the people don't
not as
want
apropos.
that.
Yeah.
All right, so I've finished a few things. That was my. Did you hear my paper rustling?
We all
It was
did.
old school. Okay.
Yeah.
So I finished a couple of graphic novels. Iron Man Volume 11, The Future, at the end of that run.
Iron Man, get out of the 70s, man.
Not a big fan of
Now
it.
we're all talking about Spawn.
I
and-
read the new Suicide Squad Volume 1 from the Rebirth era.
Oh, yeah, I
like
checked that out.
Yep. Then I read a poetry collection by Naomi Shihab Nye called Hugging the Jukebox. It was pretty good. So she's probably most well known for her YA stuff. I think we have Habibi and a few other things like that. But this is one of her early poetry collections, and it was good. I always find with poetry, some of them land just right, and a lot of them I'm like, well, I don't really get what that was about,
Yeah.
or like that doesn't really speak to me. But a couple in this collection, including the title poem, I thought were really moving. So
Poetry's your Fey Ray.
what does that mean?
Because you're King Kong and you're kind of like a monster.
Oh, okay.
And your people are like, oh. But then you hear poetry and you're like,
The metaphor doesn't really work.
No.
But yep. So I finished
fine.
that.
Poetry's your Brie
I
Larson.
finished Cheap Shot by Ace Atkins. This is a Spencer book not written by Robert Parker.
Yeah,
So-
you were talking about this last time. This was
Yeah.
the first, because you've read the Appaloosa series.
Yeah. Robert Knott.
But and you don't like
No.
that.
No.
And that's the only other one you've read?
Yes.
That was Robert B. Parker, but not.
Right. So this is the first time I checked out Spencer. I haven't read any of the Jesse Stones by Michael Brandman or Reed Coleman Farrell. But
Okay. I have good feelings about this.
it was a lot better than the Robert Knott stuff. Like
okay.
it did sort of retain a little bit of the Parker feel, but it feels overwritten.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so much more. Like it doesn't have that crisp, dynamic thing that Parker does, and it was really needed in this one because that was my other problem. The plot of this was like an NFL player from the New England Patriots. His son was kidnapped.
What?
And so Spencer is like looking for the son, and it's like a week or more where this
go
kid,
Pats.
where this kid is like missing,
Right.
And it's just like you can't be this laid back about like a kid who's been missing for over a week because like he's probably dead,
Right. Sure.
So it just. I don't know. I mean, I thought like tonally it just kind of missed because there wasn't much urgency, and it made it even more apparent that it just wasn't.
I think
Parker
we
because
all
of that. So
want to know how did the Pats do that season?
they were good.
Great.
Yeah, they were good. So I wouldn't. I'm never going to read another Robert Knott, but I wouldn't be opposed to checking out another Ace Atkins Spencer.
Okay.
Like it was good enough. But I have lots of Robert Parker Spencers to read yet before I have to rely on old Ace Atkins.
Yeah.
Not sure he's the right call to do this.
I wonder what writer they're gonna.
When Ace Atkins dies,
Yeah.
they're going to take over. I don't know. They have already changed the Jesse Stone writer, so maybe they're continuing to tweak it. But
James
anyway,
Patterson's
so that's
Robert B. Parker,
Yeah.
written by.
Right. So that's what I'm finished. I'm currently reading 2 books that I really like. I'm like equally into these books. So I picked up The Keeper of Lost Causes by UC Adler Olson, which is what we're doing for Contemporary Classics, the first of the Department Q series, and I'm loving it.
Okay.
It's so good. I'm listening to it on audio, and it's a great. The reader's really great, and he does. I can't even. I feel like this is set in Denmark, but maybe that's not right. But the reader is doing all the accents, and so it's just like it's very immersive. So I'm really enjoying that. I think the book club is really going to like it. It's kind of a change of pace from the things we've been doing in contemporary classics. A welcome change of pace, I think. I've been in kind of a book club drought in which I've suffered through the books and haven't really enjoyed them. So I'm glad that I'm enjoying this. So
Okay.
and then I'm reading Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty, author of, do you remember? Because you said the name 100 times. Truly Madly Guilty.
All right.
Yeah. And when I was reading this book, one character is talking about when he first met his wife and how he fell truly, madly, deeply. So
Almost.
I guess it's a phrase that she likes. But
are you
the book is good.
Are you reading this because of the HBO show that's on right now?
No, I just kind of picked it up.
Oh.
I thought it looked interesting, but there is an HBO show. Yeah, so
Yes.
I don't know how.
It's only like 3 episodes in.
Yeah,
or
I
so.
think it's a
Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon, and I can never say her first name.
Oh, Shailene
Woodley. Yeah, Shailene.
Late of the Divergent series.
Yes. Yeah.
Divergent
series.
outlasted the
Yeah.
Divergent series.
Yeah.
So anyway, both of those
Hold
are
on,
really good.
the
Haven't
Divergent
finished this
series
yet.
is getting a TV series, so we don't know that yet.
That's true.
That series could go for years.
Yeah,
and
it could
Shailene
just-
Woodley might
it
be
could
out
do
now.
numbers. How is that Carve the Mark, the new Veronica Roth book?
I didn't read it.
But I mean, is it checking out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there we go.
So
Shailene Woodley should call her agent right now.
She should, yeah. While we're talking page to screen, I saw a couple page to screen adaptations. The one I did not know was a page to screen adaptation until it said based on the graphic novel. But I took my son to see Rock Dog, starring Luke Wilson.
Yeah, I've heard pretty bad things about this.
It was,
friend.
it was an hour and 20 minutes. We ate popcorn.
Uh-huh.
I
heard he never plays.
There was some music.
I heard he never plays like music. The dog himself.
There's not tons of the dog playing music. So
That's confusing.
It was enjoyable enough,
Okay.
and that's
Luke Wilson.
I'll take it. Yeah, and J.K. Simmons, who
Great.
needs to pump the brakes because he is in literally every movie.
That's true.
Every movie.
Yeah.
So, I guess he knows what he's doing. He's probably like, suck it all up while this gravy train's chugging
Yeah.
away. On a better one though, I saw Fences.
Yeah.
Based on the play by August Wilson, and actually didn't realize that August Wilson wrote this screenplay prior to his death in 2005.
How would he have written it post his death, Nick?
Well, I mean, it's just, that was 12 years ago, so the screenplay's been around.
Okay.
I was just surprised when it said screenplay by August Wilson, because I was like, well, he's dead.
Uh-huh.
But I guess they've just had it kicking around for
Yeah.
a decade and a half. I mean, they probably tweaked it.
Yeah.
I also didn't realize that Denzel Washington and Viola Davis were in the Broadway revival
Oh, really?
together. Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I didn't know that. And somehow I feel like I missed that Denzel Washington directed it.
Yeah, I feel like I had told you all of this.
Maybe you did.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Yeah.
well-
that's what because when the awards were announced, I had said something like, "Oh, I'm surprised Denzel didn't get nominated for Best Director
I
because
think
it was
he
up for
definitely
Best, it
should
was
have
up for
gotten
Best
it.
Picture." It's always weird to me that something can be Best Picture, have a Best
Didn't
Actor and Best Actress.
La La Land win Best Director?
Maybe.
I think it did.
Yeah.
I would have given it. I'm shocked he wasn't nominated because, especially because it's based on a play. It has that.
Yeah.
The pacing is really urgent and quick, and
Mm.
it's just, it's really easy for it to be boring or fall flat. And I thought he did a great job. Both of them, him and Viola Davis, did a
Don't
great
worry,
job.
I've seen enough of your plays to know
Acting-wise,
that,
yes.
that can fall flat.
But I thought that the directing was actually very noticeable in how good and consistent it was. So I'm disappointed.
Are you
that
going
it didn't win,
to read the script and then direct it?
no, probably not.
Okay.
But I am going to read the script because I was really interested in the play.
you
I also saw Moana, which I
Right.
really
You didn't
liked.
tell me about that.
Well, I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
Yeah. We were in the store, and I read my son one Moana book like weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
And we were in the store, and we kept passing things, and he was like, Moana, Moana.
Yeah.
And then we went by the...
Disney has his number.
Yeah, we went by the DVDs, which were right at his height, and we stopped for a minute, and he grabbed it and was like, Moana! So I was like,
Yeah.
well, I guess we're going to watch Moana.
Did he like Moana?
He did.
Nice.
Yeah, I think my wife and I liked it more than him.
Yeah.
But I really liked it.
Great.
I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
I wanted a little more music.
Yeah, the music is the best part.
Yeah.
I didn't love Moana as like a movie in general.
I
liked
did.
it.
I did. I thought it was strong.
Yeah. I guess I liked it. And I liked it more than like Frozen, I think.
Yes.
Now. But I feel like for me, what I've liked most about it is the soundtrack.
Yeah, see, I could have used the rock song is great. You're welcome. Great song.
Yeah.
I wish that we had one more fun song. There was a lot of grand stuff, but I would have liked one more just fun kicking
I like
around.
We Know the Way.
kind of song.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk.
Anyway, I really enjoyed the movie.
Okay.
So someday when you can buy it online and we can get it on the
Yeah, no
library.
kidding. I just need to go to the store.
Yeah, I guess you do. So pretty eventful weekend for me, I guess.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't puking or whatever you were doing.
No, yeah.
So
all right.
I was fine. Anyway, that's it for what I've been reading. Got a stack of things that I want to read.
Oh, boy.
As always. But, what are you going to do?
I don't know. Read it.
Yeah, I guess. Well, let's talk book news.
Yeah.
What do we have? What can I go to the store and get my little hands on right now, today, this very day?
Not too much.
Really?
But a couple of prolific authors. So these are the books that are coming out March 21st, 2017.
Tuesday's a weird day for new books to drop.
That's when movies come out.
Is it?
Yeah.
DVDs. you
Yes.
mean? Okay.
So you would think books would want a different day.
Yeah.
They don't want to compete with the
I gotta hog it.
big
And-
Blu-ray.
And CDs are Fridays now, right?
I don't know.
Do the kids
CDs
still buy
come out
CDs?
whenever.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Let's see. So we have If Not For You by Debbie McCumber.
Oh. Debbie McCumber, back at it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
George Harrison has a song called If Not For You.
Oh,
I wonder if it's based on that.
does he have a song called Debbie McCumber?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
No.
J.A. Jance, Man Overboard.
Not a Muppet.
Right.
J.A. Jance is not a Muppet, folks.
Right.
Okay.
Janice is a Muppet.
Janice the Muppet. He's a Muppet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Man Overboard, an Ali Reynolds novel.
Yep.
Okay.
Haven't read this series, so I can't.
Yeah. Have you
Can't
read
help
any
you out.
J.A. Jance?
No, I was going to put one on the book club, and they
You need
just
to give her a J.A. chance.
didn't seem. I think
Nothing.
I've kind of
All right.
floated it to the book club, and they were like, eh.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, maybe Murder on the Serpentine will entice them.
Sounds a little fun.
A Charlotte and Thomas Pitt novel by Anne Perry.
ugh, no.
You don't like Anne Perry?
We read one Anne Perry book for book club. I wasn't a fan. A couple of them love it. It was a split decision. It was kind of
Okay.
half and half. Love it or hate it.
Okay. Well, the stakes have never been greater in the history of her best-selling Victorian mystery
Wow,
series.
high stakes.
Yeah. What
That'll
about?
move some books.
We have The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi.
Is this part of the Old Man's War series?
I don't think so. Let's see. Our universe is ruled by physics. Hard to argue. Faster than light travel is impossible until the discovery of the flow, an extra-dimensional field available at certain points in space-time, which can take us to other planets around other stars. On board. The flow is eternal, but it is not static. Okay, just tell me what this book's about. A scientist, a starship captain, and an empress of the interdependency must race against time to discover what, if anything, can be salvaged from an interstellar empire on the brink of collapse.
Oh, first novel of a new space opera.
There you go.
So it's brand
Maybe
new.
I'll read it then. Scalzi, I think I've only read 2 books by John Scalzi. Old Man's War, which I liked but didn't love, and Red Shirts, which I liked up to the halfway point, and then I just wanted it to end or I wanted to die. I wanted either one of those things to happen.
Yeah.
Luckily, the book just ended.
I have never read Scalzi. I know we have a lot in our sci-fi section, and they do go out pretty quickly. So I think
He's a
pretty
popular I think the thing about Scalzi is that he's consistent in terms of like his writing style and putting material out there, but he has a lot of variety in what he writes in the sci-fi genre.
Okay.
He's not like it's not like an Honor Harrington where like maybe the author has this one series and that's all he's going to write for the rest of his life. Like Scalzi just keeps going back and forth and doing different things.
Okay. Well, this book got a 5-star rating from a fellow librarian of mine.
The Collapsing Empire?
Yeah.
All right.
She must have got an advance copy.
There's another book he had written a few years ago called Lock-In that I've been meaning to read as well. And he also wrote this book called Fuzzy Nation. I can't remember.
Okay.
But what was interesting about that one is that it was almost like a remake or a reboot of how of the story. Like the book already existed. It was called like Fuzzy World, or I can't remember.
Okay.
I'm doing a terrible job at relating.
Fuzzy World.
But there was this book called Fuzzy something, and John Scalzi then just took the book and rewrote it as a different story, but with like the same world and everything. So it was like a director coming out and being like, "Now I'm making Singing in the Rain." So, you wanna reboot Singing in the Rain? You and me?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of, did you see that article I posted while I was sick? I thought it was a fever dream for a second about Warner Brothers contemplating rebooting The Matrix.
I did see that.
Ugh. I then later
No.
saw somebody said it's not a reboot, it's a sequel.
Is that better?
Reboot.
I don't think that's...
It's not better.
No.
We don't need any more.
No.
We just need the one Matrix movie. We've
Yeah.
talked about this on this
We
podcast
have, yeah.
before. It's a terrible idea.
There's no place for any Matrix sequels, so luckily there are none.
Yeah.
It's just the one movie.
And the Animatrix. Okay. Dead Man's Switch by Matthew Quirk. I think I clicked on this because I thought it was Matthew Quick. But it's not.
Matthew Quirk.
Yeah. Though Dead Man's Switch could be a Matthew Quick title.
It could be, yeah.
Like, oh, I've been confused with the dead man, and now I'm learning what it's like to live.
Is it about hopeless outcasts finding strength with each other?
No, it's a deadly fall of a rugged sketch of California coast. What?
You're not winning me over with this.
All right. Dead Man's Sketch delivers non-stop twists, turns, and action and high-stakes thriller about what happens when the flight abroad follows our covert operatives home and their...
You're so bored just reading this. I don't think it's...
Sorry,
although
Matthew
that's the
Quirk.
second thing that's high stakes. So
That's true.
A lot of high stakes today.
Yeah. All right. Mississippi Blood, a novel by Greg Isles. Ills?
Oh, Greg Isles. Yeah.
Greg Isles.
Yeah, he's a big mover here. We get a lot of his books.
This is the final installment in his Natchez?
I haven't read them.
Natchez Bernie trilogy.
That sounds right.
So,
yeah. Actually, I picked up one who looked really interesting to me, and then I realized it was the second one I had, so I put it down. I never went back.
Hey.
Ursula, who works here, big Greg Isles fan. She loves these.
Oh, well, there you go. Good news. It's going to be printed in Deckel Edge.
Hey.
We love Deckel Edge
We
here.
sure do.
We don't know who he is.
Yeah, but love him.
We're big fans of Deckel Edge.
We definitely love him.
Vicious Circle, a Joe Pickett novel by C.J. Box.
Yes.
He's all kinds of popular here, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
he is. That was the technically the first Page Turner book that we did was the first Joe Pickett book.
I thought it was Andromeda Strain.
Well, that was before we had official book clubs. Andromeda Strain was the first book club I ever did here, and then after that we decided let's make two. So CJ Box was like this launching point for Page Turner. So technically Andromeda. A case could be made for both.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, that's it.
All
Just
right.
a little library history for you.
CJ Box, new book, Joe Pickett. Randy Wayne White.
That's tough. That's hard to say.
He has a new... This is book 20 of 20.
Did you say Billy Ray Cyrus?
No.
Oh, I was taking a drink.
This is book 20 in his Doc 4 series. This is called Mangrove Lightning.
Wait, about the Billy Ray Cyrus PAX TV show doc?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The ghost
I guess everything's getting a reboot now, huh?
The ghost of a 1925 multiple murder stalk Doc Ford in an electrifying new novel.
Ooh.
Who goes there?
I love it.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Christmas comes early here at All the Book Show.
Really?
Because we've got Bound Together, a Sea Haven novel by Christine Feehan.
Oh, yes.
For 5 years, Victor Prankinsky
Sure.
has put his life on hold in order to take down the world's most feared motorcycle club from the inside. But carrying out the insane violence and seeing the club's
insane is her word, not ours.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah, this insane violence and seeing the club's exploitation of the innocent has brought his traumatic past roaring back. Wow. There's only one cure: to see his wife he left behind.
And to turn into a tiger.
Blythe Daniels thought she'd never see Victor again after he murdered her stepfather and left without a word.
Wow, Victor.
She rebuilt her life without him, becoming a personal trainer and a physical therapist.
Wow.
Become strong enough for others to lean on.
Yeah.
But when Victor comes back to Sea Haven...
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah. Well, Victor has come back to Sea Haven. He'll make Blythe question everything she thought she knew about good and evil and the dark desires of the heart.
Oh, boy.
Bound Together.
I love it.
Very sexy.
Yeah, apparently.
Also, for those out there, I wonder how many people are excited who are listening to this right now, but the new Mass Effect game, Mass Effect Andromeda, has a prequel book series, Nexus Uprising. We have a few video game prequel books in our collection.
Oh, do we?
We've got some StarCraft books. We've got some Assassin's Creed books.
Yeah, we do.
We've got
Batman Rise of Sinzu.
Yeah,
novelization of the
Batman Rise of Sinzu
GameCube
book.
game.
Yeah. So, there you go.
Mm-hmm. That's it?
This is by the Mass Effect book, for anyone wondering, is by Jason M. Howe and Casey Alexander.
None of those really excited me, though.
Any of those books?
No.
You're not a Randy Wainwright?
No.
White?
No. I'm not a Billy Ray Cyrus fan either, so not much there. All right. Well, let's talk. Let's look to the future, see if anything else is coming down the pike for us.
Do you have anything that's Actually, I think you have some on the bestsellers list, so we'll wait till then.
Okay. Let's talk large print. If you're a large print fan, we do get a regular influx of large print books for all of your large print needs. The Innkeeper's Sister, a romance novel. Welcome to Honey. This is by Linda Goodnight. What a great name. Linda Goodnight? That's a classic romance novel writer.
I was going to say that's a James Bond name.
Oh, yeah, Mary Goodnight from, what is that, Man of the Golden Gun.
That is.
Yeah,
Oh,
Good
boy.
night. Welcome to Honey Ridge, Tennessee, where Southern hospitality and sweet peach tea beckon, sorry.
Yeah.
I just assumed.
Yeah, they reckon as well. Well, I reckon.
This sweet peach tea reckons you're thirsty. Anyway, welcome to Honey Ridge, Tennessee, where Southern hospitality and sweet peach tea beckon, and where long-buried secrets lead to some startling realizations.
I reckon.
Yep. I reckon it beckons. I love this is my favorite thing about the Cozy Mystery. Do you know what it is? Can you guess?
It's how warm you feel inside your quilt.
No, it's the puns.
Oh, okay.
The title puns. Like, I once bought a book for this library based solely on the fact that it was called Scam Chowder and had a big picture of clam chowder
rough,
on the
yeah.
front.
Well, the only reason I
How
told
do you not buy that?
The only reason I
It's
told
impossible.
you to get a specific romance novel was because it was called Some Like It's Scott.
Some like it's Scott.
And it proved to be popular.
I know.
So
Oh my gosh.
we've got
Anyway.
So say the other one. It's what? Scam Chowder.
Scam Chowder.
Yeah, Scam Chowder.
Yeah,
That's
in the
pretty
in
good.
the grand tradition of Scam Chowder and Some Like It Scott, Kale to the Queen.
Oh boy.
Although, I mean, shouldn't it be Kale to the Chief? Seems like they kind of wasted that one. Do you say
you hail to the
Do you say
Queen.
hail to the Queen? All right.
I think so. You
I
also
don't
say
know.
God Save the Queen.
That
You
yeah.
can say Cod.
Yes.
Cod
Oh
Save
my
the Queen.
gosh. Oh man, Nell Hampton, if you're listening, feel free to use that title. We don't want a penny.
I don't
I just
wanna
want
write
to see
book.
that book.
Yeah.
What is it? Say it one more time.
Cod Save the
God
Queen.
Save the Queen. That is great. But right now you're going to have to deal with Kale to the Queen, a Kensington Palace chef mystery. You can get another ground floor, buddy, because this is book one.
Isn't cod difficult to?
one.
You know what? No, there's a certain flounder. Isn't that a
Flounder.
fish that's hard to like cook?
Oh, could be. I could ask Chef Carrie Ann Cole, because she's about to embark on the adventure of a lifetime, an assignment as the new personal chef to the royal family at Kensington Palace. But no sooner has Carrie Ann touched down across the pond and donned her apron than a dead body crops up beneath the royal kale beds.
Yeah,
What a way to go.
yeah.
Surrounded by kale.
Yeah, surrounded by superfood.
It is a superfood.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll
Perhaps
save
if she
her.
had eaten some of that, she wouldn't
Maybe
have found...
it will save her.
Yeah.
Oh, the King of Christmas. Not Johnny Mathis. I know what you're thinking, but it's not Johnny Mathis. It's the most... Never mind. Richard Paul Evans,
Okay.
author of such hits as The Mistletoe Promise
Yeah.
and other such Christmas tales. Gonna come out and just do a regular old year-round... Could be October, could be September, we don't know.
Okay.
The Broken Road. Book
right.
1 in a new Broken Road series by Richard Paul Evans. A broken man.
Long and broken road.
A twist of fate. A second chance. From the #1 New York Times bestselling author of The Mistletoe Promise and The Walk comes the first novel in a riveting new trilogy that explores the tantalizing question, what if you could start over as a golden retriever?
Really?
I made the last part up. It's just what if you could start over. But I felt like it needed spicing up.
Yeah.
Did what I say
problem
make
with-
you want to read it more?
Well, I thought it would be cool to be a golden retriever
Yeah.
for like 12 years and then come
Yeah.
back as something else. But then I was like, being a golden retriever, your life is so dependent on people.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be rough.
Yeah.
Because, like, you might end up in a crappy situation.
Sure.
So I don't want that.
Okay.
I want a fun situation.
Like a parrot.
No, I don't. What?
You don't want to be a parrot?
No, I'd be a golden retriever, but I would want to be like in a loving home.
What if you were just like a loose wild? What if it was a life after people situation and you were just a golden retriever?
Oh, well, I don't think a golden retriever would last long because they got the hip issues. I think
boy.
stronger, more powerful.
This is
dogs.
getting depressing.
Sorry.
Which probably is in line with Richard Paul Evans.
Yeah, all
so
right.
it's probably going to get sad.
Can I just come back as a
I know you're
orca
going to
in
love
a life
this.
after people?
Yes, you can.
Sweet.
This is your author crush. She's back with a new novel. You know who it is?
I think I know, but I don't want to say.
Say it.
Is it Heather Graham?
It is Heather Graham. Heather Graham, Dying Breath. This is her 21st book in
When
the
does this come out?
Crew of Hunters series, June.
Oh, this is in large print.
No, it's standard print.
Oh,
Yep.
she has a book coming out next week.
I know, it's crazy. And she doesn't even have a co-author. She's just like boom, ba-boom, ba-boom.
Well, her movie career hasn't taken off as much
It's
anymore.
different Heather Graham.
Oh, right.
Not the Heather Graham from
We're
Scrubs.
talking about Heather Graham,
the Spike and
the
Shag
creator
Me.
of the Graham Cracker.
No, that's
Okay.
that's pronounced Heather Graham, and that's a man. Oh boy, but this tagline, it starts strong.
Okay.
Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Buried alive. As a teenager, Vicky Preston survived an attack by a serial killer. That was the first time she saw a ghost. Second ghost book.
That's true.
Now the city of Boston is being terrorized. Someone is kidnapping women and burying them alive. Jeez. But cruelly leaving a glimmer of hope for the authorities by sending a clue about their location. Vicky is pulled into the investigation when her name is mentioned in one of the notes. And as a historian, she has the knowledge to help uncover the graves the killer known as the Undertaker is choosing. But she also has another unique lead. The spirit of one of the victims is appearing to her in her dreams.
Look. The third act is going to revolve around her being buried alive and having to get out.
Yeah. Yes.
It's going to be intense.
Yes.
But she is going to get out.
The stakes have never been higher. Anyway, we have a current Heather Graham out there right now. Probably got one in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
She's starting to be, she's the next Danielle Steele.
Oh.
Finally, this is one that I am very excited about.
Okay.
So you probably not so much,
right.
but I'm excited about this.
Okay.
Paula Hawkins, author of the #1 New York Times best-selling and global phenomena. Well, way to spoil it.
Well, sorry.
Phenomena, The Girl on the Train returns into the water, her addictive new novel of psychological suspense.
So not Boy
a
on the
single
Train.
mother turns up dead at the bottom of the river that runs through town. Earlier in the summer, a vulnerable teenage girl met the same fate. They are not the first women lost to these dark waters, but their deaths disturb the river and its history, dredging up secrets long submerged. Beware a calm surface. You never know what lies beneath.
Nope.
Starring,
not doing it.
starring Harrison Ford.
Too depressing. Can't do it anymore.
Well, that's all I got.
Yeah. All right.
So why don't you perk us up with the New York Times bestseller list?
Yeah, that will do it.
It might.
Yeah. Okay.
It might.
All right. Actually, hold on. Do you want to take a phone call right before this?
No thanks.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'll edit it out.
Oh, you will?
Yeah.
Because I've heard that before.
All right. I would.
Yeah, I know. I would trust you.
You could do whatever you want.
I could just say, should I pause this? And you'll be like, no, I'll edit it out later. And then we'll just leave it in. Okay. Well, it's an option. All right.
New York Times.
Hello?
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, the rash is back.
Oh,
You better cut this out.
yeah,
This is
I'll
embarrassing.
definitely edit this out.
Uh-huh. Okay. I'll be right in. That was the doctor about my unsightly rash.
Okay.
Whew.
Yeah.
I do not want
All
our
right, let
listeners
me
to know
mark
about
this
these. Mark
down.
the time.
Okay, we're at minute 32.
And then if you could please edit that out,
Edit it
because
out
and I'm
for
really trusting
Nick.
you on this. If I find out that you didn't edit it out,
All right. We'll do.
okay, so it's definitely gone.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just let's reboot. You ready? We're just gonna
Yep.
start over again.
Yep.
Hey, Eric.
Yeah?
What's on the bestseller list this week?
Oh, yeah. Let's look and not slow anything down.
No, let's
with a
not.
Phone call. All right. Number 10 and number 9 sold the same amount of books this week on the New York Times bestseller
I like
list.
to see people getting along.
A Piece of the World by Christina Baker Klein has been here for 3 weeks and been here for 31 weeks at number 9, The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. Number 8, The Whistler by John Grisham. That's not going anywhere anytime soon.
It's got to get out of the way because Camino Island's coming on its heels.
Oh,
Less is
all
like
right.
2.5 months.
Well, then that will be taken.
It's gonna drop.
Yeah, number 7, 4 weeks on the list, Heartbreak Hotel by Jonathan Kellerman. Has nothing to do with Elvis Presley.
Oh, come on.
Number 6,
You don't
17
know. You
weeks.
haven't read it. It's called Heartbreak Hotel. Do you really think no one is going to say the word Elvis? Someone's going to say it. Odd Thomas talked to a ghost of Elvis in the Dean Koontz series, Odd Thomas.
Okay. And Elvis Presley has that famous song, Odd Thomas.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
Yo,
come
no,
on now.
Thomas.
I'm so odd. And I'm Thomas.
Yep. Number 6, 17 weeks, A Gentleman in Moscow
Oh, gentlemen,
by Armor Towels.
in my...
Towels?
Arm and towels?
Yeah.
Armful of towels.
Yeah.
Army Hammer.
Yeah.
Towels.
Number 5, new this week,
Hey,
Exit West. I brought this up on Book News last
by
week.
Snagglepuss. Exit stage west even.
Lovers in a city,
Yeah.
overwhelmed with violence, hear about mysterious doors that will carry them into an alien and uncertain future. This is the story that's about
Alien, uncertain even.
this is the story about immigration
Oh,
by
well.
Hostin Hamid.
Snagglepuss jokes withdrawn.
Okay. Number 4, 4 weeks on the list, Lincoln in the Bardo by George Saunders. Remember, he's visiting the grave of his recently deceased young son. In 1862, Lincoln encounters a cemetery full of ghosts. Who do you think the ghosts are? Because it's in 1862.
I think one of them is Funky Phantom. Even he used the same voice for
Yeah,
Funky Phantom
okay.
and Snagglepuss.
I just don't. In 1862,
Yeah.
there aren't any like if I went to a cemetery right now and I had a cemetery full of ghosts,
Yeah.
like who knows what the ghosts could be like?
Bowie?
Michael Crichton, David Bowie.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, maybe ghosts aren't bound by the same kind of like rules as we are.
so these are like future ghosts.
Maybe it could be David Bowie, and Lincoln wouldn't know who he was.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, hey, it's President Lincoln, man.
Ground Patrol to President Lincoln.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Write that book.
Okay, hold on.
Most people don't
Hold
know.
on.
But
That's
David Bowie.
That's
and
the sequel to Time Fox.
Abraham Lincoln had a quick meet-up in
Yeah.
a diner.
Yeah.
What they discussed was unknown.
It's almost
But
as
here's
weird
some-
as that David Bowie Bing Crosby thing that happened.
Yeah, well, that's just a song.
It's
They were-
odd, though.
But
It's
they were
certainly
neighbors.
odd.
They were neighbors in that song.
Oh, okay.
David Bowie just moved next door.
Just
at the
showed
beat.
up.
Yeah, there's the whole like intro
Oh,
where
rum-bum-bum.
he shows up. He's like, "Oh, what do you play?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Mostly modern music. Do you like modern music?" And Bing Crosby like, "Oh, I adore it." So
Bubble bubble.
yeah, he's like, "Oh, is that a piano?" Number 3, Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, a
There it
retelling
is.
of Norse folklore.
There it is.
Yep. One time Thor was hungry, and so he ordered a pizza, but the pizza had anchovies on it, and he realized Loki got him again.
Ah,
That's
Neil
a,
Gaiman.
Yep. That's some retelling of
Yep.
Norse
Yeah,
mythology.
it was.
Number 2, Silence Fallen.
And I can't get up.
Yeah,
Because of your 90s Spawn stuff, I just got the 90s stuck in my head.
sure. Yeah,
Hey, Eric,
yeah.
where's the beef?
Okay, that's all of these are the 80s.
Oh,
None
boy.
of this has to
I've
do with
lost
the
control. I've fallen and I can't get up
Yep.
from this joke.
Yep. Soon you're gonna be quoting what you talking about, Willis.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yep, that again, 80s
I love
though.
it. Yeah, yeah.
So 90s would be Full House.
Oh, yeah, like cut it out.
Yeah.
I hope your world.
You
Like
didn't have to do the
the
voice.
puppet? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay.
How
rude.
Speaking of though,
Yeah.
you watched some Fuller House
We've already discussed this.
on air.
Yes, we have. Last week.
Okay.
Keep going.
Silence Fallen by Patricia Briggs. A shapeshifter, Mercy Thompson, finds herself in the
Oh.
clutches of the world's most powerful vampire.
These books always look exciting. I've never read any. Wait, this is on the bestseller list?
Yeah.
Wow.
Number 2.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably going to be a flash in the pan, but good for you. I read one of the graphic novels, and I liked it. It's a kooky world.
Oh yeah, we have one in our collection.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Number 1. Who do you think it is?
James Patterson?
No.
Oh.
Dangerous Games by Danielle Steele.
Oh.
A television correspondent investigates damning allegations against the Vice President of the United States of America.
These United States?
These United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gripping.
It is gripping.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
speaking of Danielle Steele, 'cause
Okay.
I think she's on your list. I think she's one of the top. But anyway, we're going to talk about...
Oh, on the list, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We're going to, as we mentioned earlier, March is Women's History Month. And so we've been doing some things in the library to prop that up and show different contributions. A lot of good book displays and things.
So Nick and I will be doing a reenactment of all of history regarding women.
Yes, I will play the character of Louisa May Alcott.
Yeah.
Pretending to be a man writing sci-fi just so it'll get published.
And I will be the sun rising and setting on the woman's life.
Wow. Okay, places.
Rising,
You know, I know this
rising,
is a joke, but I
rising.
actually want to just pause and just really get the kinks out of this and then do it
Okay,
for our listeners.
all right.
But anyway, we're going to talk about some of our favorite books by women, and this is not an attempt for us to tell you these are the greatest women authors of all time, but just books that we've read by women that we like.
Yeah.
And to start off with, it's confession time. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. I have noticed over the years that I have a little bit of a bias when it comes to like fiction.
Go on.
Well, yes. I mean, I found myself like sort of being like, I pick it up, I would flip through and it'd be like, oh, it's a female protagonist. Nah, no thanks. And I wouldn't really like get any farther than that. I don't know if it's like, I'm not going to be able to relate to this as well because it's a female protagonist. And even a little bit like I would be much more likely to pick up a book by a man rather than a woman. And like for no particular reason, but it's something that I've sort of noticed over the years. And I don't really do that anymore. but I did for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know if like I feel like maybe Joyce Carol Oates and others kind of. I just became really interested in those sorts of things, and it kind of knocked that door down for me. Have you ever noticed any kind of? Have you ever done that?
No. Though I mean, no, not. I guess I just read what looks
Whatever
good.
you want.
I think unfortunately, the subjects I like, sci-fi / fantasy, has been historically unfriendly to female authors, and it's only in the past like decade or so that like minorities have been able to like really become prominent in the world of sci-fi.
That's interesting because when I was looking back mine, I thought like a lot of the female authors that I've liked over the years have been in genre fiction, like especially I like Star Trek. I don't know if you knew that, but Star Trek novels, Star Wars novels, a lot of those are written by women. DC Fontana, Diane Duane, Christy Golden, Vonda McIntyre, lots of others.
Kate
I
McFadden.
a lot of my a lot of my like favorites in the like Trek or Star Wars series are written by women. So I don't know. I've come across that quite a lot. I guess I don't read a lot of like mainstream sci-fi, which I suppose is maybe less common that those are women writers.
No, not so much now.
Yeah.
But I think just
Certainly when we look at past like Hugo winners, it's like
there are female winners of the Hugo Awards, but they're not as like it doesn't really. I feel like it doesn't get into prominence until like the 80s, and then you don't really start expecting it until like the 2000s.
Yeah. Well, the like Ancillary Justice series and all that.
Right.
I mean, that's.
But I think a big part of that is because the Hugo Awards are voted by the fans, and I think the readership is just wanted
predominantly.
more. And they also do the nominations. I had something I was going to say about that. You said sci-fi, Star Trek, got nothing. Oh,
Okay.
young adults.
Yes.
I read. The reason I can say that is because I read a lot of young adult now for the thing, and
Yeah, you do.
that's predominantly, maybe not predominantly. I shouldn't say that
I
because
don't
I don't
know.
know the stats, but
It seems like when you're going to list like prolific YA authors, like I feel like I could say John Green, and I don't know that I could come up with another like prolific male young adult author.
yeah. Well, that's not the topic, so I won't try to
No, I know,
figure
but
out
I mean,
the.
that's a lot on my list.
Yeah.
Suzanne Collins, Camden Bushnell, Gwenda Bond, Holly Black, J.K. Rowling, Jean Duprat, Cass Morgan.
Oh, right.
A lot of.
I thought you promised at the beginning of this podcast we're not going to mention
that I
J.K.
wasn't gonna
Rowling.
I don't think we can actually avoid talking about J.K. Rowling.
Okay, that's fine.
So I mean, she's one of the
That's fine.
she's one of the biggest authors of the last 2 decades. Would you say?
I guess.
I mean, those books, gangbusters.
Yeah.
Say what you want about them. They got kids back into reading.
I
You
guess.
know. I know that your feelings with these are that it doesn't encourage them to branch out,
Yeah.
right? Don't you feel like
Yeah.
the fandom is very
But you
narrow
know what?
for that?
I feel the same way about they're the same. When I went to
think
school,
to
there were
some level that's true of any fandom.
Yeah, when I went to school, there were people who it seemed like they only read like the Chronicles of Narnia series.
Yeah.
And it seems like, or Lord of the Rings. So it kind of seemed like, and there was a group, it seemed like they read Harry Potter, they read Chronicles of Narnia, and that was all they loved. I'm like, guys, this is just the surface. You gotta peel the orange a little bit. You gotta get some of that sweet citrusy juice inside there.
Yeah, I think that is true of any like niche. Well, even to go back to Star Trek, for example. I mean, I've read a lot of Star Trek, but it hasn't really.
I was very much.
I haven't
like
really
that.
branched off into reading like standard sci-fi because of that. You'd think I would, but
I was like that as a kid. I mean, I only read like when I first got into comic books, all I read was X-Men. If you told me about any other comic, I would say no, thank you. Like it took a long time for me to.
What about X Factor?
Well, yes.
What about
X Factor and X-Force?
X-Force?
Anything
Okay,
that
good.
was in the X-Men thing, I would read. But it took a
X-Man?
long. Yeah.
Okay.
It took a long time for me to be like, maybe I'll see what else is out there.
Really?
So yeah. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He made his way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's great. Do you have a favorite female author of YA?
Yeah, but she doesn't really write YA anymore. So
It's more a junior.
Yeah.
Junior novel.
She still writes for junior books.
Crenshaw, for example.
Yeah,
might be a
Crenshaw.
recent, and who is this again?
Well, she goes as Catherine Applegate now.
Oh, sure, author of Crenshaw and
Yeah.
others.
And,
Probably best known for that.
So I can talk about K.A. Applegate right now if we want to talk about our favorite
You
female
can,
authors.
yes.
But if I do, it might get emotional because I've been on an emotional run the past
You
couple
have.
of weeks.
Yes, you have.
I've seen some emotional films. I've watched some emotional shows. I don't know if I can do this.
I'll fake a phone call if you start.
Okay.
If you start to get weepy.
So, K.A. Applegate basically raised me.
How many Animorph books did she write? For those of you who don't know, the Animorph series, we have almost all of them here in the collection. You can check
those
them
of you
out. You
who
can relive Eric's childhood.
Don't know. I do have all of them
Yes,
at
you
home.
do. Yeah.
In my...
In a beautiful box.
Yep.
Yep.
So, 52 Animorph books.
Okay.
And that's not counting the multiple Chronicle series. The Megamorph series. The Alternamorphs.
Yeah.
Can't...
No, you can't. You can't disregard that. Certainly
and,
not.
yeah. So, a lot.
Okay.
So, I just had like a night a couple of weeks ago where I was looking up. I found out there's a Animorph like Fanpedia. So I was on that as well.
You should be the managing editor.
Yeah,
You fix all the mistakes.
So as a kid, like I had like a rough time keeping friends as like a younger kid because in my neighborhood you had to be friends with the people that lived in your apartment complex, but a lot of them were jerks, and like they were also friends with each other before I got there.
Okay.
And so but the Animorphs, they were like my friends.
Yeah.
That's a little. You'll edit that out, right?
No, that's staying in.
Okay.
That's staying
So-
in. But I mean that speaks to the power of books.
That's
true.
true.
A well-written, well-crafted book, especially a long-running series like that, where you get to anticipate characters.
K.A. Applegate wrote this kid series, and like I look at it now, and I like go back and sometimes like open the book, and I'm like, boy, this is young. This reads really fast. But like as a kid, she's writing
That's
about
sort of like 10, 12, right? Wouldn't you say?
when I was reading it.
No, but I mean that's probably if we were going to recommend it to someone, you'd say the 10 to 12
Yeah, I think so.
area.
When I read it, it was about kids dealing with war, dealing with PTSD, dealing with
Turning into hawks.
Yeah, being dealing with the family drama and stuff, but also like a lot of that they had to deal with like the morals of war, like how to make hard choices. Like, is it okay? Like they found out that the Yeerks, which were the aliens they were fighting, were weak to a certain food. I don't want to say it because you'll laugh.
Okay,
it's cinnamon flavored oatmeal.
Why would I laugh? That's logical. I was actually going to guess that, and you cut me off.
They were thinking like, let's just pour it all into their Yeerk pool. But they had like that's kind of like a debate. Like, is it okay to use chemical warfare?
Right.
And it's like you have
cinnamon oatmeal.
Yes,
okay.
It's an analogy.
Yeah, all right.
But like the discussions they have, like deciding whether or not they had these like, heavy like conversations and thoughts.
Do you think the intent is to bury messages and morals? I mean, do you think that's part of the goal?
I don't think they're buried at all.
Oh, okay.
I think they're right out there. I mean, you have the characters of every different, like, you have Jake, who's the leader, and he makes, like, the hard choices and whatnot. But you have Marco, who's, like, a bit more ruthless, and he just sees life and choices as, like, A to B. Mm-hmm. Like, the fastest point, the fastest way between 2 points is a straight line. So just do it. And then you have Cassie, who is, like, a pacifist and doesn't like killing and wants to like always find the, morally higher ground route. And then you have Rachel, who's like, she's a warrior. She'll do what needs to get done. But, she doesn't like this side of her, but it comes very easy to her. So it's just funny because like as a kid, you're reading about kids who are like, yeah, killing's easy for me, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
So she's the Wolverine of the group.
Okay.
Rachel.
All right.
She's pretty cool. So her battle morph is the grizzly bear.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Do you still have you read Crenshaw, her latest?
No, I haven't because somebody said it made them cry.
Well, maybe now's the time. Just lean into it, my friend.
Like, but
do you think they would hold up? Like, do you think if a kid, if they
I don't know, they're very
they put
90s.
A shiny new cover on it.
They talk a lot about Hanson. They talk about Nine Inch Nails. They talk about Mission Impossible, the first movie. There's one where they go. Somebody invented like a chat space, and so they like, and it's it's just AIM. It's just a chat room, but like they're talking about like how to protect themselves. And it's like, did you disable your cookies? I'm like, I'm pretty sure you have to do a little bit more than that, buddy.
Probably, yeah.
So it's dated definitely in the 90s.
Did you find that reading this series, like, did her writing encourage you to read other things? I mean, was it a gateway into reading more and more stuff, or was it?
I think as it was. I mean, it's kind of like it's superhero stuff. Okay. Like you don't realize it, but it is. Well, I mean, I read her other series than Everworld, which is fantasy. So that was like, one of the first fantasy series I had read too as a kid. I think Animorphs was like the seeds of why I would stick with sci-fi.
Okay.
Because the stuff I liked in that, I'm like, oh, I can still kind of find this other places.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay.
The characters, I will say, the characters have stuck with me like my whole life.
Okay.
So, think about them still. So, I'm afraid to. I have thought about going back and rereading the series.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid to because I don't want.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough if you go back and find out it's bad. Maybe if you read it to like when you have kids. You can read it to a kid and then,
but,
you kind of see it through that lens.
I mean, she was able to write it in a way that, all the characters felt like friends and you wanted to hang out with them and be an Animorph and hang out in the barn. Like they would meet in Cassie had her parents ran an animal shelter and it was just in their barn and they hung out there and you're like, man, I just want to hang out in that barn with the Animorphs, talk about school. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Okay.
So,
is there a modern, like junior young adult novelist that you like right now?
I like Marissa Mayer.
Mm-hmm. Cinder,
the Cinder series.
Lunar,
I like her writing
Luna
style
Chronicles,
in that. I think is the big key. She's a good writer. And,
Cinder was strong. I was very
Scarlet
reluctant about reading that book, and it drew me in. So,
and my wife has finished it. She's read all 4 of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or she's starting Winter. I better double check.
Mm-hmm.
And she's written an adult series, an adult Star Wars book, but Claudia Gray also is very good. She's written the
Lost Stars. She wrote
Thousand
for Star
Skies
Wars,
Above You and Lost Stars.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay,
there's tons. I mean, I don't love Rainbow Rowell's books, but people do.
Okay.
So
yeah, we could talk about Rainbow Rowell for a minute. She's on my list.
Is she?
Yeah, I thought Eleanor and Park was really good.
Yeah.
I know you found it sad, right?
I did. It was just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Also,
well, I think
it wasn't just sad.
Yeah.
It was terrifying because Eleanor's relationship with her stepfather was like a bomb under the table for me the whole book. I just kept waiting for that bomb to go off, and it left me uneasy the whole book.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Yeah. See, I thought it was you're right. I mean, it was, you didn't even know what direction it was going to go.
Right.
Like, you knew something terrible was going to happen, you didn't know how. So,
Yeah.
like, to keep up that suspense, I think is a hallmark of strong writing.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. I think probably of her books that I've read, I haven't read Fangirl.
Right.
But I think I liked Landline the best.
And you have read Attachments?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Everything, but I haven't read Fangirl or Carry On.
So you like her writing style, or?
I do like her writing style. Yeah, I think she balances. It's it's bouncy and a little pop culture heavy. I think I mean it's a very very modern style. But I think it works. I think that that can cheapen it a little bit if it's too much in that direction. But I think she strikes a good balance of like the characters being realistic without being caricatures. And I think that I think the relationship struggle in Landline between I can't even remember their names now. Georgie is the woman's name, but her husband, like, they have this divide and they're separate, and just the way she works through that and deals with it. I think even with the fantastical elements of the plot, it was still very grounded and like true to life the way their relationship worked, and I appreciated that. So yeah, I think she's a strong writer. I've read 3 of her books, and they've all been in the context of a book club in different situations.
Find a
so
way
I got to work in Fangirl somehow.
Yeah.
I think she's doing a graphic novel right now.
Is she really?
That's what I read that a while back. I think probably if I was going to give it to a kid or YA author that like pulled me along the most, that I really got into, would be Suzanne Collins with The Hunger Games.
Yep.
I think that those I think a lot of like modern YA you can trace back to The Hunger Games. I think that set a tone more so than like, I think you're probably, I would say more so than Harry Potter, but you're probably getting a lot of kids who like age out of Harry Potter and go to things like The Hunger Games. But when you have something like Twilight, which I don't mean to dump on Twilight because I know it's got a huge fan base, but it doesn't have a particularly like strong message. Like, if I had a daughter, I wouldn't suggest that she read Twilight because it's very.
She didn't need your suggestion. She's going to pick it up anyway.
Probably. But I mean, I feel like, Bella sort of stays very damsel-y, and the message is like, oh no, go to this destructive, horrible relationship that makes you feel bad. Run away from this nice relationship.
The relationship doesn't make her feel bad. It's the lack of the relationship that makes her feel bad. You've taken the drug away.
Yeah. I don't think that that's a particularly positive portrayal, and I wouldn't want teenagers to emulate that. Not that I want them to emulate
opposed
the
to
Hunger
maybe
Games,
us knowing a few Katniss Everdeen's in our life.
Right. But I think the Hunger Games, you have strong characters. They're on a mission. They're dedicated. I don't know. I just thought that the Hunger Games really.
I think I read Hunger Games still not really knowing that the young adult genre existed yet. The way it did.
Yeah.
So when I read it, I think I just read it as it's a book.
Yeah.
Or it's a younger book.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, it's definitely like a gateway book into that genre, and it had a lot of. I mean, I think you can trace things like Divergent and Maze Runner, and a lot of things like that. You can pull right back to it.
I'm very certain that when I first heard of Twilight, I definitely didn't know young adult. I didn't think it was young. I thought it was just a book.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would probably say Suzanne Collins. I haven't read anything by Gwenda Bond other than her Lois Lane series, but I really like the writing in those. Okay. I like the way those are written, so I might try her other things. But I think that again, that's a way where they're showing a strong female character, and there are tiny little hints of romance, but that's not what it's about. It's it's one very small aspect of it, and like we were talking about forever ago with Roller Girl, a lot of the action in Lois Lane is just girls being friends, working together, being on a mission. There are guys involved, but it's just they're
not a Roller Girl, baby.
Yeah, it's not a romance thing. So again, I think that puts out a strong positive message, more empowering than anything else. But anyway, what about
S.E. Hinton?
Sure, yeah.
What about her?
Dig in.
She's great. When I was a kid, I wanted to be S.E. Hinton. I wanted to be her friend. But I think she was about 60 when I was first reading it. Because I found out S.E. Hinton, when she wrote Outsiders, she was a teenager. She was 16 or 17.
Uh-huh.
It's ridiculous. When I was 15 reading that, I'm like, are you kidding me? That's amazing. I thought she was so cool for doing that.
Yeah.
She was living the dream that I had as a 15-year-old. I'm like, that's fantastic. It also helped that The Outsiders, and That Was Then, This Is Now, and not Tex, Rumblefish were I mean, I haven't read Tex, so that maybe could be great, and Tammy the Star Runner. But those three I loved as a kid. I read The Outsiders in school, so it was required reading, but I loved it.
Wow. That's extra impressive because it's homework at that point.
Yep. But then after that, I just went to the library and found out what else she had, and That Was Then, This Is Now, and Rumblefish were great. And what's interesting about S.E. Hinton is that she doesn't have female characters really in her books. So she's writing, as a 17-year-old girl, these very believable, very convincing teenage boy characters in all these books. And I thought about that, I only started thinking about that last year. I was like, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
I could not write a realistic... I couldn't write a series with that many realistic female teenage girl characters and it be believable and readable and have the impact that it did on the. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But she was able to. And you know what I think it is? I think it's that. I just think women in general are better at putting themselves in other people's shoes than a lot of guys because we tend to suck with that.
See, now I have to read this book. I don't know how I've avoided it. I know. I'll do it.
That Was Then, This Is Now was great too. That's each book needs their own podcast because they're great. Rumblefish was about brothers falling apart. I guess they're all kind of brothers falling apart too. And how she understood that too was great. So I think in an interview I read she just kind of wrote about the kids she saw and grew up with. So she's just good at observing. So she's great. You talk about somebody who had an influence on tons of people. We just used that as a book club at the school last year, and the kids loved it.
Yeah.
And then some of them had their parents get them the movie.
Wow.
So she's still, that one book is still affecting
still
people.
Resonating, sure.
So
Oh, that's great.
So yes, The Outsiders and S.E. Hinton's books probably have dated better than the Animorph series. So
I haven't read a lot of, I don't know, like the Bronte sisters or Jane Austen or that sort of thing. But we're doing Northanger Abbey this year for a book club.
For which book club?
For contemporary classics. I'm
Is it
cheating.
contemporary?
I'm just gonna lop off the contemporary. We're doing it in September for History Week, so we're doing a lot of like history related things. So I picked that, but I'm really looking forward to reading it because that's one that I've picked up several times, and I just really like the way it starts. It sucks me in. So I'm excited to read that with fresh eyes. You know, not having grown up with that or really been. I don't really even know the story. You know, so like. I'm looking forward to that. I read Wuthering Heights, and like, it's got. Do you know Wuthering Heights at all? It's got kind of kind of an atmospheric, like vaguely
Twin Peaks
spooky. I mean, not that far. I wanted that, because like when I first picked it up, I was like, oh, this is a little. There's something about it.
Just
it's
become
off. It's eerie. So I wanted more of that.
Just becoming a famous author / famous.
Go on.
Movie director.
Okay.
And make your own Wuthering Heights Twin Peaks mashup.
Thank you. I think that I will. Well, let's talk for a minute about Joyce Carol Oates. I know we both read some Joyce Carol Oates.
I've only read 2.
That's 2.
3. I've read 3.
That's 3.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah. That's a pretty good number.
Yeah.
I think that Joyce Carol Oates, I don't know that there's another author that I can think of whose books I've read that I find so, I don't know, challenging. Like, I've read a lot of books.
You do have trouble with the bigger words.
Yes. I've read a lot of books where I finish it and think like, oh, that was a challenge. That was a tough read. But for her, it's like, I don't know, they're immersive and they're like, you get to the end and it's like, that was an experience, you know? I mean, especially her adult novels, but I think even YA, I know we both read Freaky Green Eyes. I think that one really takes you for a ride, you know, like you're just, there's a darkness to it, a realistic darkness to it that makes it uncomfortable, wouldn't you say? I mean, well, you hated it.
Yeah.
For that very reason.
Yeah.
So, but I think something like,
but it was like, yes, everybody sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
It was that girl in the train kind of mentality.
Right.
Like, nobody's good. Everything's terrible.
But I think that for me, I felt like there was a glimmer of hope that made it work, which I think is one of her huge strengths, being able to like take you on a journey and very quickly and succinctly, like put you in a place where like you can see a way out. She doesn't give it to you, but you can see it there. Something like Mud Woman, for example, where like the main character is just kind of slowly unraveling, was really difficult to read because you just I felt the same way with Jack of Spades, her more recent one, because the character is just like, you sort of start off like trusting the character and just going along with it, and as they start to come apart in such a realistic way, it's kind of like you have to step back as the reader and be like, whoa, So I'm always very impressed with her. And even I haven't liked all the books that I've read by her. I don't think that I've ever read a book by her and then finished and been like, wow, what a great book, because it's just not that kind of thing. But I always find her impressive. So I think that I think she's very unique. So I'm interested, like 30 years from now, to see how she's remembered and which of her books rise to the surface. But who knows?
All right.
Any others that you want to hit?
I guess I wanted to mention. Well, I'll mention Ursula K. Le Guin. She's a sci-fi fantasy writer. I love her Wizard of Earthsea books. They're very good. And she's won 2 Hugos, one for The Left Hand of Darkness and one for The Dispossessed. So I would definitely recommend reading some of her books. But I thought we'd also mention Gail Simone, who was probably the most prolific female comic book writer.
I can't even think of a second place.
She started with Marvel for a while, but she called it a boys' club because they just wouldn't give her the assignments she wanted. My first interaction with her writing was actually the tail end of Deadpool, because this was back in the early 90s, or the late 90s, I'm sorry, where Deadpool comics were not selling because it just didn't have the fan base, even though people who read it loved it and it was great. the series itself was failing, but her run on it only lasted on Deadpool only maybe 6 issues or something, but they're great. They made it feel like the original Deadpool series had a slump in the middle, and Gail Simone kind of brought it back to like being funny, being heartfelt, being dark. It was great. And then she also wrote the sequel series Agent X, which was good.
Okay.
But she left that, and then she started working with DC and did a lot more there, writing Batgirl, Birds of Prey. You probably read more Gail Simone over at DC than I have. Mm-hmm. Are you trying to?
Probably. Yeah, I'm looking here. I've read, a lot of Birds of Prey. I've read some of her. She wrote the Batgirl title for quite a while. I think that's probably most of what I did with her in that.
She also wrote Secret Six, which I loved for a long time. That came out of the Villains United series during the Infinite Crisis miniseries, so that was great. And now I believe she's also doing some like independent comic book stuff that I can't remember the name of it. I should probably look it up.
Clean Room, I think, is one. We have that. Maybe.
Yeah. But she's great. She has a knack for humor. She also did Wonder Woman. I was reading a bunch of Wonder Woman comics, and
I don't think I've read that.
There were some that I really didn't like, and then I got to hers, and she kind of brought it back to being fun again. So she has a knack of making the comics she's writing, the superhero comics she's writing, fun, funny, action, but she also has a knack for making them dark. Her Secret Six series is very dark, but it's very good. She wrote All New Adam.
Oh, yeah, she did, which we have in our collection.
Yeah. I'm looking it up because she's the new... It must be Clean... Oh, Leaving Megalopolis is the one I'm thinking about. It's the one where it's one of those the superheroes have turned and are bad series. So there you go. And you haven't read Clean Room yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
No, but we do have it. A recent author that I've read, we talked about her. No, we haven't. We talked about Paula Hawkins, which I was very impressed with, Girl on a Train. But Gillian Flynn is a pretty modern.
You do love Gillian Flynn.
I do. Books. Gone Girl is great. Sharp Objects, in a totally different way. I mean, it's real like clipped and quick versus Gone Girl's very long and wordy. And then there's Dark Places, which I'm kind of like about, but they're all very, very strong, very powerful. So I find those books incredibly readable and very compelling. So if you've only seen the Gone Girl movie or something, I would say read the book, even though you know some of the surprises, and read the other two because they're very good.
Right.
Some that I've read that I'd like to read more of would be Light Between Oceans, M.L. Stedman. This is her first, and I think at this point, only book. But Light Between Oceans was, this is the one with the lighthouse where the couple finds the baby washed up. I mean, that was just, talk about a compelling read. That one kept us, on the edge of your seat the whole time because it's well written. It's believable. It's just something about it that just feels very real.
Right.
So I hope that she writes more. I've only read one Barbara Kingsolver, Prodigal Summer, not even one of the more famous ones.
Okay.
But I really liked that, and that was another one that I was reluctant. Like I did that for a book club, and I was like, well, this is an author that people like, so we should. And I wasn't particularly looking forward to it, but I really liked it. Pulled right in. One of the toughest books I've ever read, and that includes Joyce Carol Oates, would be The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. Whew. That is a rough read. Do you know that story?
Yes. No, thank you.
The start of that book is an initial attack. Is just, I can't even believe it. Like it was published. I'm shocked that the publishers would say, "Yeah, you're a brand new author. Why don't you start with like the most horrific thing?" And once you get past it, once you get past that part, the book is just, it's rich and it's compelling and upsetting, obviously. But to start that way, I can't imagine someone okaying that because I heard when we talked about it in the book club, a lot of people had themselves the first time they picked it up or new people when it came out who read those first couple pages and was like, and never got through it. Mm-hmm. So, I haven't read her other books, but they're definitely on my list because I was surprised with the intensity of The Lovely Bones. So I think that's one had a lot of hype when it came out. It was one of those books that was just everywhere and seemed like, oh well, that's probably overinflated and it's not that compelling, but I really think that it was. So I would like to read more of hers. I'm not a huge Ann Tyler fan, which I know a lot of the book club is.
Right.
We read a couple of books for that, and so far I haven't really liked them. I haven't read any of hers that people are like, oh, you have to read this one. So maybe I've just read off ones. But playwrights, have you read a lot of female playwrights?
I haven't read enough playwrights to...
Some of my favorite plays, Crimes of the Heart by Beth Hanley.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Won a Pulitzer Prize for that. Yasmina Reza's Art, also great play. And Lifetime's 3.
Okay.
She's got a lot of things. Jean Kerr wrote Mary Mary and Poor Richard. So some of my absolute favorites by women playwrights. So I think I'm over. I think I'm over my initial issue, where I used to have trouble picking up women authors. I think, just in part being exposed to so many different titles and books coming in that it just sort of shook it off and, don't think about it anymore. But, I just think it's interesting how that happens and you don't even realize it. So I don't know. We covered a lot.
Yeah.
We covered a lot. You got any others you want to toss in there?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I mean, probably, but
yeah,
we're short on time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we move on to library news?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think the biggest thing we have coming up would be our visit from Julia Spencer Fleming, which we mentioned already, author of the Claire Ferguson novels, coming on March 31st at 7 o'clock. So that'll be down in the auditorium. We'll have books for sale through Burlingham Books, so you can get your books signed, listen to her talk. She's a fascinating character herself, so she should be an interesting evening. We have some movies showing. We're showing The Bucket List on the 28th. That's our senior matinee,
Great.
2 o'clock.
Yeah.
What's our next? Oh, the Rotary Easter egg hunt. It's coming up in a couple of weeks. This is our third annual Easter egg hunt on the front lawn, sponsored by the Wellsville Rotary.
You go for some scrambled eggs.
Gonna have
right
way
now.
more eggs this year, 300 eggs. Afterwards, we're showing the movie Storks. So even if you don't come to the eggs, you can come and see Storks.
And we've
at
connected
11
that
o'clock.
because storks, lay eggs.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it's a very loose connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
and they deliver babies.
Yeah.
Like Easter bunnies deliver
Well, I don't
baskets.
think they Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant deliver babies,
Yeah.
one more big push.
Yeah.
No, you mean to just take. Yes, you're right.
That's how
Correct.
a precocious child interprets it when their
Yeah.
parents say storks bring the babies. Like,
Yeah.
really? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. What about you?
What about you?
No, I mean what do you have?
We've got Sing. We're showing Sing in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a ways.
So that's a ways.
Yep.
So Anime
April
Club.
7th, the date for that.
Yes.
About 3 weeks.
Anime Club every Wednesday at 5:30.
Yeah.
We have Minecraft Mondays
Yep.
every Monday.
Always
at
rocking.
3. Yeah. Can I tell you I don't love Minecraft myself?
Yeah.
I've tried to
You can and you have.
I've tried to get into it. I've tried to find you know what it is? You just need to be a kid and not only just have the desire to build whatever, but have that sense of time. Because I just I can't spend a week building a small pyramid and then that's it. I just can't make my own objectives at this age.
I understand.
So
I understand.
But
kids love Minecraft.
That's true. Kids
So
love Minecraft. Minecraft is great.
It is great.
Let your imagination explode.
Yes.
Can you say that? Let your
I
imagination
don't know if
explode?
you should. You can.
Okay.
So,
And then the
Good
teen
times.
photo show. Bring your photos in.
yes.
In a month.
Exciting stuff. All right. Well, remember, you can find us on Twitter at...
The Twitter site.
You don't remember our Twitter?
It's All the Books Show.
Yes.
Twitter.
Yeah, that's right. Twitter at All the Book Show. Facebook at David A. Howe Public Library. You can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes,
That's true. You can
YouTube.
find us on
YouTube
SoundCloud.
for back episodes.
I'm working on it.
No. Lots of other places. Remember, take a minute to rate us on iTunes. Tell your friends.
Yeah. Take a
Retweet,
minute to
share.
call your mom.
Pull people in. Yeah.
Tell her you love her. You might not have her forever.
Hey, you know what? Good advice.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
all right.
I'm kind of a sage.
Yeah, you are. You are a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week with more zany fun. So we'll see you for episode 84.